You know the vibes. Another week.
Woo!
You're back
Woo!
rocking the Hoop Genius podcast, sponsored by NBA 2K22. If you don't already have a copy, go and get your copy now because myself, Mo Mutsi, BJ Armstrong, three-time NBA champion, we just watched a game that looked like it was straight out of NBA 2K. Stephen Curry going video game mode, 50 points, a new All-Star game record, 16 three-pointers, and the Kobe Bryant All-Star MVP award. Of course, All-Star Cleveland 2022, LeBron James hitting that game winner is in front of his home crowd. BJ, what are your initial thoughts? The game's just finished. We're recording this right for you. BJ asked me what I'm still doing up at 5 a.m. I said I'm giving the people what they want. And that's the new episode of the Hoop Genius podcast, sponsored by NBA 2K22. So we're here, ready for another week. We're going to be in your ears every day, every morning. BJ, thoughts on the All-Star game?
You know, Mo, it's amazing to watch this. He was 16 for 27 from the three-point line.
Crazy.
I mean, Mo, this is, you know, Mo.
50 piece.
You see things you just never seen before. The man gets up 27 threes in one game. Okay? I don't even know what to say, Mo. It's like this three-point shooting era, I don't think it can get any greater than this moment. I think this is the moment we'll say, this was as good as it's going to get. Incredible to watch. I mean, he caught fire. Man. He's shooting threes, looking in the crowd. I advise all the kids and children that are watching, don't try that at home.
Do not try that at home.
Do not try that at home. I don't want to see kids now shooting and turning around.
Nope.
That's 20, 30 years of practice. But what an incredible thing to watch. I mean, you know, Mo, what stood out to me was he was getting double teamed in the All-Star game.
Yes. And imagine if that was Devin Booker. Imagine how upset Devin Booker would be. Because remember in the off season, why you guys don't in the open gym? Why you guys don't with me in the All-Star game? I'm just glad it weren't Booker. And it was Steph, because Steph's just playing it off, having a good time out there. He was born in Cleveland as well, or Ohio. I'm happy for him. But one thing I need to say to you, BJ, Kevin Durant's credentials as a general manager need to be seriously looked at for the second time. Because his roster, what's going on with his team? How do you let LeBron take not only Steph, but Giannis as well? I don't get it. I don't know how you let those two guys get off the board. You take Embiid, but this is the All-Star game. They're going up and down. Embiid's the slowest guy on the court. Come on, man. KD.
Listen.
Let me down.
KD may have KD reminds me of the guy you questioned, well, why did he get drafted on draft night? And then all of a sudden in the game, you go, oh, that's why he was drafted. It was a very competitive game. JoJo had 36
36,
tonight?
10, and 4.
Come on, that's why he was drafted. They were going to the big fella at the end of the game. Yeah. Big fella wasn't playing around.
Giannis had 30 and Steph had 50.
There's two players.
I just think those two are going to be the first two picks.
Yeah,
and that's nothing against Joel Embiid. That's just how great those two are.
Yeah, you got to take JoJo right now. JoJo right now, Mo, if the MVP was here, you got to give it to JoJo. JoJo and Giannis look like they are playing a game within the game. Now, JoJo goes to the basket hard, and Giannis just takes the bump with his chest in the All-Star game. So I'm like, they are getting.
You see that moment where Giannis caught the ball at the top, sees Embiid under the bucket, and he thinks about posterizing him. Embiid contests, so he contorts his body and gets the laying off the glass. I was looking at that like, yo, I see Giannis was playing hard. Especially what I noticed was after halftime, where they brought out all the legendary players, there was a camera shot of Giannis just staring in amazement at some of the 75 greatest players to ever play this game. And after that, he came out on a mission. He was really trying. Like LeBron said when he picked him first, no one plays harder in the All-Star game than Giannis Antetokounmpo. And he showed it. Giannis just goes hard.
How about this? Giannis blocks Middleton. I loved it. Yeah.
I love it.
Anybody on the opposite team, Giannis is going after him. I love it. I love the guy.
Man.
I loved it. But it's clear to me that those two, JoJo and Giannis, they are playing the game at the highest level right now. Those two.
Yeah.
Those two are, it's those two, and then you can start. They separated themselves.
How funny is it? How funny is it? Nikola Jokic's worst game of the season was the All-Star game.
Well, that game, the All-Star game is not made for the big fella. Okay. I mean, Ja Morant's dunk. I mean, it's all the flair and all that stuff.
I mean, Ja finished with 6 points, but I do want to shout out a couple first-time All-Stars. DeJounte Murray, 17 points. LaMelo Ball, 18 points.
Yes.
The young fellas came to play.
Yes. Yeah, they did.
And you saw Jarrett Allen having to guard Joel Embiid down the stretch when Joel Embiid was actually trying to back him down, go at him in the post. And Darius Garland was doing all right as well. So I enjoyed it though, BJ. I did enjoy it.
It was good.
Game
give a shout out to Ball and Murray.
I love the new ending. I love that each quarter is its own thing now. And you see the final couple minutes, they really going at each other trying to win. What did you make of Chris Paul? Playing with a broken thumb. He's now out 6 to 8 weeks. We're going to discuss that on tomorrow's show or the day after, the implications for the Phoenix Suns. Out for 6 to 8 weeks now with a broken thumb, but he wants to check into the game to get 1 assist. Do you know why he wants to get 1 assist? Because then
what's going on?
He overtakes Magic Johnson for the all-time leader in assists in All-Star games with 168 because Magic was on 167. That's why he checked into the game and played with one hand to go and get himself the assist that he needed. So
but he didn't get an assist tonight.
Did he not
get an assist?
I did not get it.
Don't think.
Oh, you not got it?
Oh, yeah, he didn't get it.
So maybe he's still tired. I'm not too sure. I need to check the record books, but I thought that was the most pettiest thing. I thought it's hilarious. This guy's risking a serious injury to his hand. One pass that jumps off his hand, it could get even worse. He's like, nah, I need to go get that. Just shout out to Chris Paul, man. I love the new format, though. The format they've had for a couple of years now, the ending with the target score, first team to get there. Because again, it goes down to the final couple of possessions. And I love LeBron saying, yo, clear out. This is my arena, even though I left. This is my city, even though I left twice. Give me the ball. Get out of the way. I love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Oh, are we not going to talk about LeBron auditioning for a spot on the Cleveland Cavaliers this weekend?
Well, I want to say this about the Cavaliers.
I want to say we're not going to speak about LeBron auditioning for Sam Presti to replace Rob Pelinka as GM of the Lakers. Are we just not going to? Are we gonna?
No, I'm not going there, Mo. I'm not going there.
I'll go there. I'll go there.
You go there.
It was crazy.
I'm gonna let you go
LeBron
there.
James, the face of the league. Okay, 19-year veteran in this league, turns up to All-Star Weekend to talk about how great Sam Presti is. Why is he doing this? Because the next thing he says is, whoever drafts my son, I'm going to go play for that team. Now, who owns every draft pick for the next 451 years? The OKC Thunder. So the chances are OKC are going to draft his son and LeBron's going to go. Who would have thought LeBron wants to go play in OKC? But then he was saying, hey, listen, Cleveland have got 3 All-Stars. They got Darius Garland, they got Jalen, and they got me. What do you mean they've got you? You left. You went to Miami, you came back, then you left and went to LA. In Cleveland All-Star. And he's talking about, man, listen, the whole thing is teeing himself up to retire on a season with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I said this to you months ago on this show. You didn't want to believe me. Do you believe me now, though? Do you believe me now that LeBron wants to retire as a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers? Do you believe me now?
Well, I don't know.
Because I know for damn sure he don't want to retire.
I don't know what LeBron said to you to get you this fired up. I mean,
come on, man, I'll stay ready.
I mean,
the fans need to know. The new listeners who have joined us after All-Star Weekend, they need to know. I stay with the hot takes. 5 a.m. I don't care. I'm ready. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. The Lakers, shambles. What are you doing? All right, cool. You get LeBron. You trade all these kids for Anthony Davis. You trade, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle. All these guys having great careers now. You get a championship in the bubble. Cool. Well done. I'm not going to take that away. Fantastic news. Now, LeBron's already thinking about leaving. Anthony Davis, who somehow, I'm still not over how he made the top 75 list, is on the top 75 list, but in the prime of his career, he's not on the All-Star team. Interesting. Okay. Also don't know how they made that list, but that's a whole nother conversation. So was it all worth it? The Lakers, I never thought I'd see them down this bad. Lakers thought they had it all. Now LeBron's trying to leave. AD ain't playing. Russell Westbrook's still there. And there's reports that Clutch Sports are unhappy with the Lakers organization because they didn't trade Russell Westbrook for John Wall, who just so happens to be a Clutch Sports client. It's crazy to me. The whole thing is crazy. Now, if you don't want to say these things, I'm going to say these things because I got to let the people know that the biggest news coming out All-Star Weekend is LeBron wants to play with his son. And LeBron wants to play in Cleveland. And LeBron wants Sam Presti to replace Rob Pelinka. Now, he didn't say those things. This is just what we're inferring from the things that he said.
Let me say this about Cleveland. Kobe Altman and company. They're
fantastic front office.
They get an A+. You have these great plans at the beginning of the season and all of your executive meetings. You talk to your advanced scouts. You talk to your collegiate scouts. But every now and then, Mo, things turn out. But the most important thing is you need a little luck. And the most impressive thing about this weekend, because the Cleveland franchise had a great weekend. They did an outstanding job of hosting.
Amazing.
Phenomenal representation on the court.
Two All-Stars, one rising star.
They have 2 first-time All-Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And their best player by far is waiting in the wings.
And I loved how the rising stars, the shooting challenge, the skills challenge, they had team
Cavaliers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Cleveland Cavaliers are an example of where you want to be as a franchise.
And they were down bad right now. When LeBron left, they were. Yes. Everyone was talking. They've got Kevin Love's contract, and they ain't got no drop. Listen, the way that they turn things around, fantastic.
And all it takes is one player. All it takes is one player, and that player is Evan Mobley. Now, I understand if I was a veteran player or young star or a disgruntled player in this era, without question, I'm looking at that Cleveland franchise.
Mm-hmm.
This is the master of the obvious. This isn't anything like they see, like, what do they see? It's the master of the obvious. Now, let's get to the Lakers and these draft picks. You can't keep giving away these draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it again, Mo. You can't keep giving away these drafts. I understand why a current player who's at the tail end of his career would say, what does a 2027 draft pick mean to me right now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That makes total sense. But to that franchise, I don't think anyone's expecting any of these current players to be on the roster 5 years from today.
The Brooklyn Nets learned that the hard way. Remember that trade for Pierce and Garnett, where they gave up all their future draft picks?
I get it. So I get it. I understand it, as players should. Players live in the now. The executives have to look at the big picture. So to me, it's one of those things. That's what you're supposed to say. Who's the greatest? You're supposed to say me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're supposed to say.
Yep. Facts.
Okay. So that to me has nothing. The thing that's really interesting to me is the following. There haven't been too many executives who said no to a request.
Yes, that's right. GM LeBron.
So what is this signifying? And what is this really saying? Because with that first round pick, for instance, I'm sure that deal would have been done with a player like a John Wall.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I find it interesting, and I'm not blaming Rob Pelinka, because when you have moves like this, those are owner moves. The owner said no.
Mm.
Okay.
But
we could put it on Rob. We could put it on Rob. Okay. And that's his job. He's supposed to take the heat. Oh, what is Pelinka doing? Trust me when I say this. If you call any executive in this league, he's going to tell you one thing. I got a proposal for you. I'm going to offer you Mo Muncy and whatever.
That's Momusi, future celebrity game MVP Momusi.
Yes,
just for the record.
Yes. Future. And they're going to say, I've heard of this guy, Momusi. I heard he's phenomenal. That's the guy that's going to score 30 in the 2024 game, right, DJ? And I'm going to say, yes. He's going to say, let me check with my owner before we do this deal first, and I'll get right back to you.
I hear it.
That's a standard answer. There isn't a GM, probably with the exception of, let me think off the top. Greg Popovich doesn't need to say that. And Pat Riley doesn't need to say that.
Yeah.
Everyone else is going to say that. So I find it interesting that they've said no.
Yeah. I find it interesting. Do you know what springs to mind? You see that Russell Westbrook meme? That's pretty interesting. But let's leave that for another day and talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, because that, for me, All-Star Saturday night was a very big disappointment. I think everyone agreed. But the best part of All-Star Saturday night was the skills challenge. You had the Antetokounmpo brothers. First of all, Giannis having so much juice, he can say, yo, bring my brother from the G League and bring my brother who rides the bench for the Milwaukee Bucks. They're doing this. I'm only doing this for my brothers. Then they had the rookies, where I don't know what happened to Scottie Barnes. He couldn't score a layup all weekend. And then they had the Cavs. And the Cavs, boy, you see Evan Mobley shoot that ball. When it comes to the shooting part of the challenge, lights out. Wow. And then they're saying half-court shot to win it. And I was watching the game. I said, they're going to hit it the first time. Jarrett Allen missed. Evan Mobley steps up. Cash. I'm like, damn.
That kid likes the bright lights. That kid likes the bright. Mo, I competed in it. I think we spoke.
Yeah, we spoke about this before the weekend.
I told you, and
it's all about a half-court shot.
It's all about.
I don't think that made it to the episode. But BJ was telling me the story of when he took part in the Shooting Stars Challenge, which is an event they used to have where a legendary player, a current player, and a WNBA player from the franchise team up for a different shooting challenge. BJ took part one year, had to go up against Tim Duncan, David Robertson, and please forgive me, I can't remember who else was on that team.
She's coaching in the WNBA now. I can't think of her name.
Real legendary. And I feel awful, but there's so many great people that have taken part in that Shooting Stars Challenge. But the moral of the story is BJ lost in the final to a half-court shot by a legendary San Antonio Spurs player. So he was telling me he must have repeated it about 100 times. It's all about the half-court shot. It's all about a half-court shot.
Yeah, it's a half-court shot.
So I want to bring back this Shooting Stars Challenge. I've got a plan to revamp All-Star Weekend, BJ.
Becky Hammonds.
Of course. My mind's getting ahead because I have a plan to revamp All-Star Weekend. Do you want to hear what my plan would be? If I was in charge, I would just restructure it just a little bit, okay? I'd restructure it just a tiny bit. So for me, my ideal All-Star Weekend, Friday night, would of course be the celebrity game where I win MVP, but we'd also bring back the Shooting Stars Challenge. I want to see BJ lace them up. BJ, Zach LaVine, and pick whoever you want from the WNBA team in Chicago, okay? And then I also want to see on Friday night a 3-on-3 game between some retired NBA players. I think that would be amazing for the fans. You see the guys playing in the big three. I'm pretty sure you could tell Vince Carter to still lace them up. Richard Jefferson would still want to lace them up. I'm sure there was guys that recently retired that would come out and do it like a charity game, 3-on-3 on a Friday night for All-Star. Then on Saturday night, I want to have the skills contest, the 3-point contest, and the Rising Stars game on Saturday night, because I think the Rising Stars game is so exciting. It needs to be a Saturday night event. And then on Sunday night, we have the All-Star game. And then at halftime, we have the dunk contest, because the dunk contest, if none of the big name players are going to do the dunk contest anyway, it doesn't matter then. We can do it on Sunday night. And if the dunk contest is super disappointing, like it was this year, no one's going to worry about it because they're all going to be talking about the All-Star game anyway. That would be my plan for All-Star Weekend, BJ. What do you think?
Mo, I think there's been a lot of creative ideas that has gone into All-Star Weekend. And, look, I love the creative process. Somewhere in my mind, I'm an artist of some sort, right? I love the creative process. I really do. And I love the creativity that went into the new format for the All-Star game. I thought it was interesting. The thing they did with the what they call it, Shooting Stars or whatever they call it now.
Rising Stars and the Skills Challenge.
Rising Stars, that's great. But one thing, Mo, that stood out to me as a former participant, former player, that really stood out to me, and you know, Mo, it kind of bothered me. And if you can give me 2 minutes here.
Of course.
What made, you know, when Michael Jordan was announced, you can kind of see the excitement. You know, you can hear his cheer is always a little louder than the others. Okay. All those great, wonderful players that were there, he still is regarded and loved to that. You know, it's like there's Dr. J, there's just, but then there's Michael Jordan, and you can see how excited LeBron, Luka, and everyone was to come over here and see him and greet him. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What bothered me about All-Star Weekend and all these creative ideas was the following. The All-Star Weekend was always about the very best this league has to offer. It wasn't about the rules. It wasn't about the creativity. It was about Dr. J is the very best dunker in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Dominique Wilkins, Michael Jordan, so forth and so on.
Kobe, rest in peace.
You saw the very best. Mm-hmm. Listen, the very best. This is what made All-Star Weekend great. When you went to the three-point contest, you saw Larry Bird.
Mm-hmm.
You saw Craig Hodges, Mark Price. You saw the best shooters in the league. You didn't see second or the third best shooter. All-Star Weekend was a celebration. This is the best league.
Yeah.
The best dunkers, the best shooters, and the best players. Now, Mo, those weren't the best three-point shooters. Those weren't the best dunkers.
Nope.
And I'm concerned now because All-Star Weekend is not displaying for the business of basketball. All those players there, Jerry West, Oscar Robertson and company, they were willing to boycott the game to get the better conditions so that these players today can do what they're doing. They left the game in a better place. Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the list goes on and on and on. Now suddenly you're like, I don't want to do the dunk contest. I'm good. What about the three-point shooting? I'm good. But when Jordan walked out, that's Michael Jordan. That's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's Julius Erving. These are legendary players. They were playing when there wasn't even a TV contract to put the game on.
Mm-hmm.
So I respect everything you're saying, Mo. But here's what I want the players to understand. Respect all those men who made this game what it is today. And participate because it's the greatest game now. It's played by the greatest players now. But if you don't participate, Mo, it could go somewhere else. Don't take this for granted, Mo, because this league fought hard to get to where it's at. This is a true global game.
Yep.
And Mo, if we don't take care of this game, when I say we, if those players don't take care and take stewardship of this game, Mo, it could easily go somewhere else if we're not careful. And that's all I want to see. Participate and love this game for the next generation because Dr. J inspired Jordan. Jordan inspired all of these other Kobe. Kobe inspired, and now we don't even want to participate. If I remember correctly, Kobe Bryant even participated in the three-point contest one year.
And like we saw Steph Curry score however many threes, 16 threes in the game. If you won the three-point contest, but Steph Curry weren't shooting the three-point contest, did you really win? We saw Zach LaVine doing 360. We saw Ja Morant finishing a 360 alley-oop in the dunk contest. So if you won the dunk contest without Ja Morant and Zach LaVine, did you really win? I don't know what it is if players don't want to be clowned on social media, if players don't have any incentive to do it. I don't know what the solution is, okay? But I know there needs to be some change because that All-Star Saturday night was very disappointing. I've just got to say it straight up. It was very disappointing, and I hope that people see it.
You just want to see the best.
Yeah, Mo, and next year, now they realize that they need to change things.
Mo, I don't think it's again, this is just my take, which is subjective. I don't think it was disappointing. You just intuitively know that wasn't the best. You want to see Aaron Gordon. Come on.
Yeah, man. Facts.
Mo, you want to see
I blame D Wade for all of this, by the way. I blame D Wade for
Zach
turning
LaVine.
the dunk contest into a joke.
You know who I wanted to see? I wanted to see Ant-Man.
Yep. Miles Bridges.
Okay.
Ja Morant.
What's the young kid, Kuminga? I wanted to see him.
Yep.
No disrespect to what is it? What's his name?
Juan Toscano Anderson.
Toscano. Yeah. No disrespect. Kuminga is probably the best dunker on their team.
Wiggins as well. Wiggins, his head goes above the square on the backboard. How was he not in the dunk contest? And I blame D Wade.
Ja Morant's supposed to be in the dunk contest.
Facts.
Okay.
He's built for it.
So that's all I want. I just want the very best dunkers and the best shooters to participate because, Mo, we all have a responsibility for this game that we love that has, it's a humbling experience. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it was disappointing. Like, listen, Obi Toppin, man, he showed up, he won, so that was great.
Respect to him.
I would have loved Obi Toppin to have beaten Zach LaVine, Ant-Man, Aaron Gordon, and Ja Morant. Now I would have been like, hey, that's pretty impressive. Yep. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And that's not Obi Toppin's fault. That's not any of those players that participated. So I don't want to knock those guys because those guys showed up. And
I respect them for actually doing it. I respect them because they're the only ones that stepped up and said, we'll do it. But I hear what you're saying.
I want to see LeBron, why LeBron James hasn't been in the dunk contest yet.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? That ship has sailed. That ship sailed. He ain't got the juice no more like that.
It's sailed, but you know what? When you watch it, you go.
I hear that. I hear it. But we want to see the best of the best. And what I loved about All-Star Weekend this year was at halftime in the All-Star game. They honored the best 75 players, those who could make it to the arena. It was just amazing to see them get the flowers and get the recognition and the crowd go crazy for all of those guys. I thought it was fantastic. We're going to dive into more of the stories from All-Star Weekend and around the league over the next few days. Even though there's no games, we're still going to be here every morning rocking with you guys. Before we wrap up, speaking of the best of the best and giving the flowers to the greats, I want to dedicate this episode to my boy Jamal Edwards, who unfortunately passed away. Any of you listeners from the UK, if you grew up in the same time as me, Jamal was a true pioneer of the music scene. He was a huge part of the culture, bringing our culture and our kind of music to the forefront of, what's popular and will get seen and recognized by these big brands. Pioneering the YouTube game. He was making YouTube videos before anyone knew what YouTube was a thing. A big inspiration to me. I first connected with Jamal when I was like 17, 18, writing blogs. I hit him. I'm like, I seen him. I was like, Jamal, I'm right about NBA. Let me write some NBA stuff on your website. He's like, yeah, we'll talk. He wasn't an NBA fan. He loved wearing snapbacks though. I got him right with a bunch of different NBA team snapbacks, which was cool. And every time I seen him, he always showed love. Every time I see him at parties and stuff, people like, yo, how's the basketball thing going? So I just want to dedicate it to him because he was a big inspiration on my journey of being someone coming from, he had no business being in the music game and he made it to the very top. You hear Ed Sheeran's one of the biggest artists in the world now. Jamal is who put him on. So I just want to dedicate this episode to him, if that means anything to anyone. And I just want to say, it's important that we share the love and share the flowers to the people that inspire us because life is short. So it was good to see the top 75 players, those who are still with us, being recognized this weekend. And, just as a call to everyone listening, share some love with someone who inspires you today. Make sure you let them know before time is too late. And on that note, BJ, I want to say I appreciate you and give you your flowers for rocking with us here every day. Because it means a lot.
That's beautiful.
I speak for myself and I speak for our family who tunes into this show, the audience. We all appreciate you and what you bring. And, we appreciate the wisdom and most importantly, the vibes. Because
Yes.
This is the place you need to be rocking for your daily NBA updates. You know the vibes. But that's how I wanted to close this one out. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. We're going to be here all week, as I said. BJ, anything to wrap this one up with?
Yeah, I just want to say condolences to Jamal and his family. And I didn't know him personally, but just being around the entertainment industry, I've heard of his name. And, you know, before we started here tonight, I asked you here and didn't know your relationship. So just want to say condolences to his family. And also just want to say to all those players that was at All-Star Weekend, especially those 75 players that were honored there, thank you, because, you know, every player that's played has contributed, right, to where this league is at. But it's always amazing to me when you see all of those wonderful players in one place. It's incredible. So just wanted to say thank you to that. Another weekend, another one in the books, another one, Mo, that you and I just put down in the books, a legendary podcast by you. Because our family could be anywhere, but they rocking right here with us.
So thank you.
I just want to say thank you.
Thank you to everyone listening, because you made this all possible. Keep showing love, keep supporting, leave a review, leave a 5 stars, share it with your friends. And until next time, tomorrow morning, we'll see bright and early. Get buckets.